You can face it.
Chris said hello and sorry he didn't come in. His blood pressure went up. We heard about those brakes.
Oh, yeah.
That car.
Is that
We
right?
just got those brand new brakes. Are you on?
All right, y'all. Everyone can stand for the blowing of the Shabbat. Oh, yeah. All right. Our psalm of praise today. It'll be taken from the 46th Psalm. Psalm 46. Guys, get it? Y'all know what to do. Yeah? Okay. Elohim is our refuge and strength. A very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear. Though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof, there's a river, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of Elohim. The Kodesh place of the tabernacles of the Most High. Elohim is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. Shall help her. And that right early. The heathen rage. The kingdom. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. Yahweh of hosts is with us. The Elohim of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. Hallelujah. And one of the scribes came, having heard them read together, and perceiving that he had answered them well, asked them, which is the first commandment of all? And Yashrael answered him, the first of all the commandments is, hear, O Yashrael, Yahuwah Elohim is one. Shema, 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 Yashrael, Yahuwah Elohim, Echad. Shema, 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 Yashrael, Yahuwah Elohim, Echad. One more time. Shema, 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 Yashrael, Yahuwah Elohim, Echad. Hallelujah. Come on, somebody sing for me, sing for me, sing for me.
Today, this is the day that you're good and be glad in it. And be glad in it. This is the day that God has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day. This is the day that God has made.
One more time.
This is the day. This is the day that God has made. That God has made. I will rejoice. I will rejoice and be glad in it. And be glad in it. Oh, this is the day that God has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day. This is the day that God has made. Hallelujah.
You stay with Rock 21. Ecclesiastes 21. Dang, on that special.
Just like that.
Straight like that. My son, as thou
Everybody
sayest. Oh man.
Hallelujah.
So Rock 21 from the top. My son, as thou sinned, do so no more, but ask pardon for thy former sins. Flee from sin as from the face of a serpent. For if thou come too near it, it will bite you. The teeth thereof are as the teeth of a lion, slaying the souls of men. All iniquity is a two-edged sword, the wounds whereof cannot be healed. To terrify and do wrong will waste riches. Thus the house of proud men shall be made desolate. A prayer out of a poor man's mouth reaches to the ears of Elohim, and his judgment comes speedily. He that hates to be reproved is in the way of sinners, but he that fears Yahuwah will repent from his heart. An eloquent man is known far and near, but a man of understanding knoweth when he slips. He that build his house with other men's money is like one that gathereth himself stones for the tomb of his burial. The congregation of the wicked is like two rafts together, and the end of them is a flame of fire to destroy them. The way of sinners is made plain with stones, but at the end thereof is the pit of hell. He that keep the law of Yahuwah get the understanding thereof. And the perfection of the fear of Yahuwah is wisdom. He that is not wise will not be taught, but there is a wisdom which multiply bitterness. The knowledge of a wise man shall abound like a flood, and his counsel is like a pure fountain of life. The inner parts of a fool are like a broken vessel. He will hold no knowledge as long as he lives. If a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it.
Man, that should be say live.
And he gonna add to it.
Huh?
Verse
Yeah,
18.
read 14.
14. The inner parts of a fool are like a broken vessel, and he will hold no knowledge as long as he lives.
Wow.
I'm telling you. It's like when you be trying to have these conversations with somebody and they just cannot.
You know what?
Huh? Ain't that something?
Yeah.
You just, that's why a lot of people don't come here. Because our classes, it's like, if you don't really know, you kind of lose it a little bit. I be trying to hear from an aspect of somebody that just don't know it. And I think some people just it be like that. It's like, man, they just little bit too deep for me. Can't catch it all. Go ahead.
Verse 15. If a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it and add unto it. But as soon as one of no understanding hear it, it pleases him. He casts it behind his back.
Ain't nothing new under the sun, y'all. Ain't nothing new under the sun. If you got just a little bit of understanding and you hear some understanding, even if the spirit don't move you to say nothing, you're gonna listen. You're gonna be like, man, you're gonna listen with an understanding ear. And eventually you might have something to say eventually, but you're gonna be in it. But somebody come along and go, oh, that's what y'all talking about. Okay, I'll catch y'all later. Y'all talking about something different. They just cannot grasp it. Sometimes we be thinking that it be their own choice when they do that, and for the most part, it do. But it just, man, it's almost like you come in the middle of a deep conversation if you just don't. It's heavy. But at that point, you do make a decision whether or not you're going to try to understand what's being said, or just do just what he said right here. Leave it alone. Go ahead.
Verse 16. The talking of a fool is like a burden in the way, but grace shall be found in the lips of the wise.
Now, see, that works in other ways too, because when you're in this wisdom and knowledge, and then you see a group of your coworkers or whatever, and they had that other type of conversation, it don't suit you as it used to back in the day when you didn't understand as much.
Right.
Because have y'all found that to be kind of true?
It's like not entertaining.
Huh? Yeah, it's like it becomes a little bit, less interesting.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, you're made to feel too like it's different. Like sometimes you feel like an outcast, like it's not really interesting.
Right.
You sitting there.
Right.
They probably can feel what you're feeling, but you're like.
Yeah, you kind of feel that too, and you try to, not be rude and get to talk about something else.
We was like that in Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah, man. All right, go ahead.
Verse 17. They inquired the mouth.
We're in 21st chapter. Uh-huh.
Verse 17. They inquired the mouth of the wise man in the congregation, and they shall ponder his words in their heart. As is a house that is destroyed, so is wisdom to a fool. And the knowledge of the unwise is as taught without sense. Doctrine unto fools is as fetters on the feet.
Very annoying. Man, very annoying. Always talking about that stuff, man. Golly. I'm so annoyed by that. Go ahead.
And verse 19. From the top of verse 19.
Right.
Doctrine unto fools is as fetters on the feet,
Right.
and like manacles on the right hand. A fool lift up his voice with laughter, but a wise man do scarce smile a little.
He said, what?
Huh?
Wow.
And it ain't talking about smiling in general. We're just talking about in the congregation of that fool doing the thing. We get a little polite, little whatever, but like that. These heathens. Go ahead.
That verse 20 remind me of somewhere else in Sirach where it say, man shall be known by his countenance.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, start talking about laughter as well. Hold on, verse 20, a fool lift up his...
Okay, slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Only because the Father just gave it to me.
Oh, yeah?
I think that's, yeah,
Chapter back.
19
Right.
and 29.
So live. 19 and 29. A man may be known by his look, and one that have understanding by his countenance when thou meet him.
Mm-hmm.
A man's attire and excessive laughter and gait show what he is.
Wow. That's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
A fool lift up his voice with laughter, but a wise man bears a smile and look. Learning is unto a wise man as an ornament of gold,
Right.
and like a bracelet upon his right arm.
Mm-hmm.
A foolish man's foot is soon in his neighbor's house, but a man of experience is ashamed of him. A fool will peep in at the door into the house, but he that is well nurtured will stand without. It is the rudeness of a man to hearken at the door, but a wise man will be grieved with the disgrace. The lips of a talker will be telling such things as pertain not unto them, but the words of such as have understanding are weighed in the balance. The heart of fools is in their mouth, but the mouth of the wise is in their heart. When the ungodly or the unrighteous curse Satan, he curses his own soul. A whisper defy his own soul.
Ooh, ooh, that's ugly.
And his
Did y'all catch that?
No, say it again.
When the unrighteous curse Satan,
curse his own.
he cursed his own soul.
So it's like he's married to him.
Huh?
It's like he's married
Right.
to
Exactly.
him.
Exactly. You know, so we got to know where we stand in the shadow of the Most High's laws and statutes. Because you live in totally contrary, but you know, well, Satan is evil, Satan is this, that, the other. You cursing your own soul. Wow. So you going to eat? I don't want to go there. Go ahead. You know how
Verse 28, man, that verse. A whisper defy his own soul, and is hated whatsoever he do well.
wow. Wow.
Straight up.
Man, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, yeah.
It might be a proverb.
Uh-huh.
It might be a proverb. Because, you know, the proverbs always talk about the food.
Right. And that's something talking about food and wisdom.
Yeah.
Big part of it. All right, y'all. What we doing today?
That's
Part
real.
two.
Part
So
two.
we on part two.
Yep.
Prophetically not found.
Huh? Say the whole thing. What's the whole thing called?
Yashrael, yes, the same today, yesterday, but prophetically not found.
Close enough. About yesterday and today.
Oh,
But it's cool. Close enough. You got them all in. Next time, say, what is, Atlas, what is Yashrael today, yesterday, but prophetically not forever? Yeah. Anybody within the sound of my voice, if you missed the first part of that, check it out. Real good thing. And what it's about really again, to reiterate, is that's kind of like the identification lesson, but it's mostly dealing with the attributes. It's just a little nudge deeper than just identification. It's just the attributes that can only fit one people, even today. And these same attributes, prayerfully, is not going to be forever. All right. So as we are in the middle of this lesson, let's begin the second part. Anybody know why I ended up at last Shabbat?
Ezekiel 16. Yeah, Ezekiel.
That's about right. That's about right. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and open up in Isaiah the 5th chapter. Isaiah 5. And again, a lot of this sounds a lot like identification, but it's mostly about the attributes too. I think this is really more important than identification, y'all. The reason why I'm saying that is because we can read the identification of the different signs that are upon our people, but this, if that when you understand the attributes, then you understand why these signs are upon the people. That makes sense? Because bad enough for other people want to claim Israel, but they don't have the signs of fit to identify them as Israel.
Or they don't want to, like a lack of term, better lack of term. When it's time to be Israel, they don't want to be
Right.
Israel.
Right. But then there should also make you say, oh, yeah, I'm not Israelite. I'm not Israelite. Like one time alone, a few years back, I was here. I had not too long got here, and I used to do day labor here. So I didn't have a job, so I'm like, man, I need to get some money. So I would go to different day labor spots. I went to one up on the west side, and I met this brother on the bus stop, and he was talking to another guy, but he was it's kind of indirectly related, but he was speaking with an accent. And I'm like trying to understand his accent, but then as it turned out, he was speaking with an Australian accent, you know. And I asked him, I said, man, he said, yeah, I'm Aborigine. I'm like, wow. I say, have anybody ever told y'all that y'all may be the Israelites, the children of Israel or whatever? He said, no. He said, no, we not Israel. We not Israel. That's not who we are. As a matter of fact, we come from one of the I'm quoting like this. We come from one of the sons of Noah, Japhet. That's who we come out of. And when he said it, it made total sense to me when he said it. I didn't, you know, at first it shocked me, but I'm like, man, he's probably absolutely correct. He made a definitive statement to me that his people come from Japhet. He said, we are the original Bush people. The only reason why I thought about that was just the fact that when he first said, no, we're not Israel, it's almost as if he knew who Israel was. And like, no, we don't carry the same attributes as y'all do.
I ain't trying to, I ain't trying to kill
Right.
that.
Right. I saw a video, there's a Hispanic dude that did the same thing. He addressed one of them camps that was trying to make him Israel. He like, no, you know, hey, I follow laws, statutes, and everything, but I am not an Israelite. I'm like, wow, wow, that's weird,
But I feel
man.
like, sometimes, the Father had closed our eyes, not necessarily theirs.
Right, absolutely. We're gonna read something that speaks right to that too, but you're absolutely correct, man. Look at that. Ooh, let's read something else on that. Wow. First Corinthians, third chapter. Yeah, but I'm not going to read that. Anyway, we're in Isaiah the fifth chapter, and let's start this at the first verse.
There. Isaiah chapter 5, verse 1. Now will I sing to my well beloved, a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well beloved have a vineyard in a very fruitful hill, and he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof and planted it with the choicest vine, and built a tower in the midst of it, and also made wine press therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem, and men of Yahudah, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard. What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that I should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes. And now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vine. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down. And I will lay it waste, it shall not be pruned nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they rain no more upon them. The vineyard of Yahuwah of hosts is the house of Yashrael.
That's what that vineyard is. And the father looked at it, he's like, man, all the stuff that I done did for it, I'm trying to figure out what more could I have done for this vineyard? What more could I have done? I mean, that's a valid question, right? Because when you look at other nations, some that have, well, all really, that serve their idol flawlessly, idols that neither speak nor anything. But yet, I've only spoken to this one people, and they can't even maintain this covenant. They can't maintain this constitution I gave them. I don't know what more I could have done for them. Gave them the most choicest land in the entire earth. What more could I have done? That's the Father is asking the question, like, man, what more could I have done? But he let us know that you all are this vineyard that I'm speaking about. Go ahead.
For the vineyard of Yahuwah of hosts is the house of Yashrael, and the men of Yahuwah is pleasant plan. And he looked for judgment, but behold oppression, for righteousness, but behold a cry. Woe unto them that join house to house, and lay field to field, till there be no place, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth. And mine ears say Yahuwah of hosts, of a truth many houses shall be desolate, even great and fair, without inhabitant. Yea, 10 acres of vineyard shall yield one barrel, and the seed of a homer shall yield an ephah. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink, that continue until night, till wine inflame them.
That's the attribute right there. He said, woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink. Right? That's one of these attributes that we have. And continue until night to the wine and flame them. What comes along with that drink? Go ahead.
To wine and flame them. In the harp, in the viol, tambourine, in the pipe, in wine, or in the feast, but they regard not the work of Yahuwah, neither consider the operation of his hands.
We ain't just now beginning to be the party people, y'all. That's right. It don't start till we walk in the door. That is who we are. You know, other people, they know that. If they don't get nothing else from us, they seek after the party to get started. Right? You know how many people right now are looking forward to the Super Bowl? They don't care who's playing in the Super Bowl. They want that halftime. It's going to be, yeah. Snoop Dogg, he's the epitome of this verse. He's the epitome of this verse. It's almost like it's talking about Snoop Dogg. This song was just the epitome of, because he's going to be in the Super Bowl. Dr. Dre, and one of them that looked like them, Eminem. You know, they had to bring them in the mix. But man, they buying cheese in this game just for the party, just for the turn up. That's us though, boy. And the harp and the viol and tabret and pipe and wine are in our feast. That music is turned up. But we regard not the work of Yahuwah, neither consider the operation of his hands. Man, go ahead.
Verse 13, therefore my people are going into captivity, because they have no knowledge.
That's why we're in captivity. Because we have no knowledge. It ain't because we have no knowledge, we refuse the knowledge. It's one thing not to know and be, what's the word? I want to say the word ignorant. You know what? I kind of don't like using the word ignorant in that sense because, right, there is willful ignorance, but the fact that it's ignorant, look at that. Now you're trying to put me in that category. Oh, hold on one second. All right. But what's the root word of ignorant? Ignore. See, that's what I'm saying. So,
But they did ignore.
Huh? That's what I'm saying, but we use ignorant in the wrong sense.
Ignore it.
Right. But I'm saying we use it in the wrong sense. That's what I'm saying. Because we say willful, but it is willful because
It's already implied.
Right, exactly. It's already implied. Because a child that's 5 years old that don't know his ABCs or whatever, you know, he just don't know because he ain't been taught. But those of us that are adults that had the opportunity to know all of this stuff and live according to it, We ignore it. That is what makes us ignorant. You see, so by understanding that word in its root, that's what he's talking about right here. Not that we have no knowledge, but we have ignored the knowledge or are ignorant of it.
Was ignorant like the amplified version.
Yeah, right. But it's really the true definition of it, though. We just took it into a whole nother way. We make the word ignorant sound innocent, but it's not innocence at all. It's a choice. You ignore, that's a choice. But go ahead.
Verse 13 from the top, therefore my people are going into captivity, but they have no knowledge. And their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Therefore hell hath enlarged herself, and opened her mouth without measure. And their glory and their multitude, and their pomp, and he that rejoiced shall descend into it.
Right. So wherever most of our people be living at collectively, most of where we live at collectively, you don't even want to be caught in them places after the sun go down. That to me is described as hell enlarging itself. You almost see your own danger in them places before it even happens, right? Just like on the west side of Chicago, it's kind of funny. We was up there. I got a close friend who lives on the south side of Chicago. We hanging out with her. So we say, man, we're gonna go see one of Thomas' brothers here. I had to say it because it just sounds funny just saying it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm cracking for taxing, as you used to say. Right. But anyway, she's like, boy, you don't want to go over, y'all don't want to go over there, man. Look, matter of fact, she was putting 100 on 10. Why don't y'all take our truck? Because what? Because because y'all got Florida plates, man. Y'all don't want to have no. And we sit up there, and I'm like, man, this is my city, and I'm falling into the I'm getting almost scared because she's standing there. But I don't get scared going in any parts of Chicago. That's just the thing. I'm like, well, I'm just thinking Chicago is I know and love. So, but we went there and everything, and her aunt just happened to be sitting on the front porch. Didn't know we was coming either. And we had a good time. And everybody on the block was nice and everything. But the thing was, we already had a mindset of
I'm glad she was on that front porch.
That's what you said.
But our whole mind was just held and just thinking about the whole dynamic of what it was that we was about to deal with. And that's not a good thing, y'all. That we have to feel like that around our people. Just like Cynthia was sitting there with her husband and they sitting there listening to Cat Williams talking about all these things. I know he said they mind, well, hey, baby, we ain't going about Cristo size food, because he's breaking it all down. And he was from here and got people from here going like, oh, I'm not going over there on Catholic over there to all over there. But and that's the joke. But it's real. Everything he said was straight up hell. Hell enlarged herself. Open her mouth. And we just take it like it's just the way it is. Just the way it is. When you know that is a certain level of danger, a certain level of just bad, but you don't know the reason behind it because you refuse to accept it, that's ignorance. Ignorance. Go ahead, where we at?
Verse 15, and the mean man shall be brought down, and the mighty man shall be humble, and the eyes of the lofty shall be humble. But Yahuwah of hosts shall be exalted in judgment, and Elohim that is holy shall be sanctified in righteousness.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Let's move right along from that. Let's go in Isaiah the 51st chapter. Matter of fact, let's go to Isaiah 42. I didn't have that in here. Isaiah 42. kind of speaks to what Cynthia said earlier. Speaks directly to what she said earlier. Isaiah 42.
You never hit that 44.
I never hit the verse.
44.
Isaiah 44. Oh, okay. All right. Let's go on to 42 first. Isaiah 42, let's start this off at the 18th verse.
Isaiah 42, verse 18. Hear ye deaf, look, ye blind, that ye may see. Who is blind but my servant, or deaf as my messenger that I sent? Who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind as Yahuwah's servant?
Now, ain't that pretty much saying what you said? Right. Hear ye deaf and look ye blind that you may see. Look around and say, man, who is he talking about being deaf and blind? Telling the deaf to look. Telling you why they deaf is what? Because they ignored what they could have looked at before he told them to look at it. But now he called them deaf. That's ignorant. And you blind that you may see. You could have already saw, but you are ignorant. Who is blind but my servant, or deaf as my messenger that I sent? So if I call myself being a messenger, and I speak it all my own words, and then going into the scripture, and everything I'm saying, people out there giving me all type of amens and everything because I'm sounding all good and everything. But I'm that messenger that he's talking about right here, right? Who is blind but my servant, or deaf as my messenger that I sent? Who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind as Yahuwah's servant? That's the reason why I hardly ever, let me put it correctly. I don't try to focus on the Gentiles and heathens as much in any of my lessons, because they're doing what the Most High allows them to do. And the prophets don't either. This prophet spent his time talking about us throughout the whole thing. He might make a sparingly comment about the Gentiles here. Y'all gonna find out Gentiles are here lies. That's it. Gentiles is that. Ain't a whole lot you can say it because they ain't the ones that this was given to. So you can't fault somebody else and spend your time talking about somebody else about how bad they are unless you identify your own. You become good, then maybe everybody else just might fall in line. Huh?
That's like you always do a child.
Okay.
The child says something like, really, you can do it. What's your response to the mother? I'm not good with mom.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Child is ignorant of the fact that that's the worst thing he could tell you
Right.
about what another parent allowed their child to do. Right. But anyway, that just, I don't know how we as Israel don't comprehend that these prophets has consistently rising up early talking about us. Not talking about the one that the Father done use as his stick. Talking about us. Go ahead.
Verse 20, see many things, but thou observe not, opening the ears, but he hear not.
See the Cynthia? That's it right there. We see all these things, but we don't observe. I love that, how he's making a difference between you can see all you want to, but if you don't understand what you're looking at, if you're not observing it, that's the whole another level than just physically seeing with your eyes. Because like I say, like this lesson here, I can read the signs, which are the curses, but then understand why is that whole nother level. You see? And that's what we want to focus on. We want to focus on not just the what, but the why. So we see all these things, man, but we observe it not. Open the ears, but he hear it not. You know, See, after a while, after you have been in this truth for a while, it's almost hard to even comprehend the understanding condition of our people without this.
Yeah.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
I for the life of me, I can't even make a realization to it. I can't even comprehend it. But that's what people are doing. They seeing it all, but they ain't observing it, opening the ears, but he hear it not. Go ahead.
Verse 21. Yahuwah was well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable. But this is a people raw and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hidden in prison houses. They are for a prey and none delivered, for a spoil and none shall restore.
Right. Hey, can't nobody deliver these people out of their conditions that they're in. All the prison houses that we find ourselves being in, all of these messed up neighborhoods, which he called holes, that we live in every city that we are living in, can't nobody deliver us out of that. Sad. You can literally tear down the buildings and raise up brand new buildings and put the same people in it. They might as well just in that same old building. Throw down. That's sad, man. You say something like that, and some of us don't even want to hear that. Man, why you always talking bad about your own people? Because your preacher is always talking good about y'all, robbing you at the same time.
Yeah.
Because you done walked out of here and you feel so good about yourself. This week I'm gonna be so blessed. I'm favored. Man, I feel so good. But your preacher ain't told you the truth. That's why you mad. Yep, but this is the people we are robbed and spoiled. Spoiled meaning that whatever you was made to be, you ain't that no more. It's spoiled. Like this milk's supposed to be so good for you, but if you don't drink it in 2 weeks, it ain't what it's supposed to be no more. It's spoiled. They are all in snared in holes and they are hid in prison houses. They are for prey. I love that dynamic, for prey. We are the only people on the face of this earth that came to the whole entire Western Hemisphere in the world as a prey. Nobody else came over to the Western Hemisphere to be a prey. They came over here for a chance at a better life. I was just on somebody yesterday, and we were talking about Africa. I think who I was having this conversation with. And man, I was talking to my brother. Man, but if all of the us going over back to Africa, then how come so many of them are trying to get over here? And I see again, to the average person, that's a very good point. Huh? Very good point. But what you need to understand is that, and you know what's funny? Just thinking about it, some of them that come over here, after a while, they realize it wasn't what I saw on TV. I wasn't even going to say that, but that would be a lot of testimony like, man, I thought it would be this, that, or the other. But the truth of the matter is because they are from a lower income society. And many of them are not even, what's the word? Are not content with, where they're at. They figure that no matter what it is here, it's going to be so much better over there.
Yeah.
A lot of times they come over here to support their family back home and sending the money back.
Right. Yep. All that. But I mean, it's kind of funny because in our ignorance, and I ain't saying all of us, but we were led to believe that Africa was all jungles and all huts and everything. So it's kind of like they kind of feed into their own stereotype, and we buy it too.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know that Nairobi and Dar es Salaam and all them other cities was like,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like skyscrapers, everything.
I mean, not just skyscrapers, but these are like what we see in Chicago and Jacksonville skyscrapers. What they got over there be like spaceships and stuff. Yeah, be like, dang, what look like 23rd century type stuff.
They all look like it's about 10 stories. I'm like, we got a 10-story.
Right,
We don't have one
right,
like that.
right.
Like the third largest technology club.
Right, right,
Or
right, right. Exactly. But some of the same people there be like, man, this is okay. When I make it to America, Jack.
Then I see like some of their homes is like they have like these
Pristine.
pristine homes.
Yes.
And it's nothing to have like a 5,000 square foot home in some of these places. Like, oh, this is normal. Then I see sometimes you watch some of those shows.
Yep.
And say for instance, it's like International House Hunters.
Yep.
You want to go over there,
Yep.
and you looking at the cost like,
Yeah.
it's not that
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Yeah. Easily a $300,000 home over here. And the house over there be like $60,000, $70,000. You know, it's crazy. And that's the reality of it. See, I'm saying again, that's the difference between what you think you know and what the reality is. It's two different things. But that's what that is. What verse we have?
Yeah,
23? Okay, yeah. But yeah, so again, it says we are for prey. The only people that came over here in this country to be exactly for that, for prey. You didn't come over here to prosper. You didn't come over here to get ahead from where you was. You came over here so you could be used by everybody else to prosper from. It said that none delivered and for spoil, and none says restore. Because again, if you don't know what you got or what do you, how can you say restore? Right? Only thing we talk about is reparations. Reparations. Which that's just a monetary reward, a monetary payment. But real restoration is what? Knowing who you are, knowing what your name is, knowing what your heritage is, knowing when you go back to wherever you come from, you got people there which you really don't, with open arms to greet you like family. We go over there now, Tanzania, Ghana, and them places, man, you are dollar signs to those inhabitants over there. And I ain't making that up. If they YouTube all day long, we be going over there, they testify, tell you the story. And they'll call you brother all day long. They'll call you whatever it is and make you come up off them dollars. Man. But that's what we are. And we can't say restore because we don't even know what's due us. Which is the reason why a lot of people right now say, well, I'm not in captivity. And you know what, I thought about that doctrine too. Because people be like, well, if we come into the truth, are we not delivered from the curses of Deuteronomy 28 chapter? Say it again. Right. That's pretty much the answer. Not collectively. And the curse of 28 chapter is not an individual curse. When Daniel in the 9th chapter says, we have sinned, we have confusion, and all the curses written in the law of Moses come upon us. He didn't say have come upon them. Because Daniel was good as gold. Daniel had one of the cribs that you see on International House Hunters. That he took his curtains back, facing the east, and prayed.
Well, somebody,
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that. He says, seek ye Simon, whose surname is Peter. He stayed with another side by the seaside, waterfront property. Right. He'll tell you what to do. But hey, he was living by the seaside. Now, the seaside might be a little different now than what it was back then.
I bet it was pretty though.
Yeah, could have been. But absolutely. But
even
I sure was thinking that.
He put Yashrael in his team. They had money, some had money, but they were still living under custody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And that's exactly what the point is. Exactly what the point is. Right? Another point. So now we got my man right now, Kyrie Irving, right? Had nothing to worry about. Guaranteed contract and everything. But if you step outside of the context of their reality, now you become the worst thing in the world. And what makes it so bad about that, though, is when our own people start lifting up their voice, talking about my man who decided that he didn't want to, do this, that, or the other. That's the worst part. Let other people say they thing. Well, I don't need to hear this from my own people. I'm the one that ain't about to get paid no more, not you. I'm the one who have to handle my responsibilities the best way I know how. And you can't even give me an encouraging word. All you want to do is crucify me and whoever I hurt because I made this decision. Nobody. That's what it is. When you prosper in the society, you better stay steadfast within the system that you are prospering in, or you're going to lose all that you have acquired. Go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Verse 23.
Yep.
Who among you will give ear to this? Who will hearken and hear for the time to come?
Isaiah, unlike what today's Christianity think, was not prophesying about something that had already happened, have already been fulfilled. We ain't got to read Isaiah no more. But dead and gone, we now are in this New Testament thing. Over half of what any of these prophets prophesied about have still not happened yet. Still is ahead of our time. But he said, look, who among you will give ear to this and who will hearken and hear for the time to come? Because as bad as it is now in my present day, man, y'all ain't seen nothing yet. Go ahead.
Verse 24. Who gave Yaakov for a spoil and Israel to the robber?
That's the question. So I guess the answer to that would be the white man. Right? See, again, that's sad. I can understand people that are ignorant saying that, but when you got Israelites saying stuff like that, that's ridiculous. The father's letting you know, he asked the question, who gave Yaakov for a spoil and Yashrael to the robbers? Who was the one that caused us to be in this captivity? Who was the one that caused us to be living in these prison houses and holes? Who is the one that caused us? Who's the one that caused us to be a prey? See, your eyes see a white man, but you don't even conceive that it ain't the white man, it's the Most High that allowed this to happen. And he's very plain right here when he's giving us the question, and he's answering it at the same time. Who gave Yaakov for a spoil and Yashrael to the robbers? Go ahead.
Did not Yahuwah be against whom we have
He
said?
wants you to stop giving that Gentile this credit. That's
one thing. You blame somebody else now. You don't want to look at yourself and see what you did wrong. You want to blame everybody else around you.
Yeah.
Because this is happening to you. When you're the one
exactly
who put yourself in that predicament.
Exactly.
Once we start taking responsibility,
right,
then we can move forward to what the Most High has for us.
Right. I'm paraphrasing this out of Deuteronomy. It said, how can one put 1,000 to flight and two 10,000 to flight? How can it happen? Except they rock has sold them. That's what he said. What we have seen with the Gentiles building ships and coming to the coast of Sierra Leone and Ghana and all them places and taking us, putting them into the ships, that can't happen unless they rock their souls down. Cannot happen. They ain't going to other places. They ain't went to nowhere else that I can think of and did it like that to that extent. Nowhere. Even the indigenous people here in the Western Hemisphere, they still in their lands right now. They came over here on the same ships, and we on the bottom of them ships. And we came off them ships, and they subjugated the natives, right? But the natives still knew who they were. See, right now, some of them are ignorant because they take pride in the Spanish language and all that. But Mel Gibson, when he came out with that apocalypse, boy, they were speaking their native tongue. They native tongue because the tongue wasn't lost. The Aztec language, the Mayan language, that's all their native languages. Still exists. They make the decision to reject their culture. Like I'm a Caesar, I'm whatever. They take pride in that all you want to. That's your choice. All right. Do we in that? Oh, no.
25.
Okay, yeah.
Therefore he had poured upon him the fury of his anger and strength of battle, and had set him on fire round about. Yet he knew not, and it burned him. Yet he laid it not to heart.
Yep. All that we deal with is all about the fury of the Most High, man. What we done did to his covenant, man. What we done did in our part in destroying this creation, really. So we had did right, the whole world would be on one accord.
And we would not be having no earthquakes.
Huh?
We would have
Right.
no earthquakes.
Right.
No volcanoes erupting.
Right.
All this stuff happening.
Yeah. Speaking of which, that Psalm we read earlier. Get something about that Psalm? Yeah. We tell you that, look, I'm in the midst of all that stuff.
All of it.
Don't be scared about none of that stuff. That stuff can't even happen unless I'm the one that brings it.
Exactly.
Huh?
You ain't live on Facebook?
Say again?
You ain't live on Facebook?
He ain't live on Facebook.
I said, are you live on Facebook?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Oh no, I'm not.
I put on.
I'm not. I'm on. We're on YouTube. Yeah. Yep. Anyway, he had poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of battle, y'all. And we blame it on everybody else. But we always want to believe God is on our side. We don't never want to believe that the Father just might have issues against you. Just might. All right? Psalm 51, real quick. I ain't doing the part 3. Psalm 51, and let's start this off and go straight to the point. Psalm 51, verse 17.
Psalm 51, verse 17. Sacrifice. Y'all still here? 51 to 17. Sacrifice.
Is that where you at?
Psalm 51 to 17.
Did I say Psalm? I did say Psalm, didn't I?
Yes.
I said, I'm sorry. I bet if I went to that Psalm 51, I bet it would blow my mind. See, I bet you it would.
It was a good one, too.
I bet you it is. I bet you it is. I don't even know what it says. I bet you it is.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's an ugly song. That song is ugly. God, that song is treacherous. Ooh. Oh man. The Lord reads that, y'all. Oh, I do. I didn't even know what it said, y'all, but I was like, I already know. Did I say Psalm 51? No, we ain't gonna read that. We ain't gonna read that. I'm sorry. We ain't gonna read it.
You ain't doing Isaiah?
Yeah, Isaiah 51. And truth of the matter was I was reading Psalm 52 and I was like, ugh, that's what I was really looking at. Like, ugh, that's not nice. Psalm 50, I mean, Isaiah 51.
Isaiah 51:17.
Yeah, Isaiah 51:17.
Awake, awake, stand up, O Yahushua, which has drunk at the hand of Yahuwah to cover his fury, that has drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling, and rolled them out. There is none to guide her among all the sons whom she had brought forth, neither is there any that take her by the hand of all the sons that she had brought up. These two things are come unto you, who shall be sorry for you.
Who shall be sorry for you? I can't be sorry for you and then use you as a prayer at the same time. I don't know how to finagle that the right way. But they have finagled it, right? I hate to be political, but they call it the Democratic Party. I hate to say it like that, but that's what we all have been, because we think that they're doing something for us, but they're really doing something for themselves, and they use our condition to. I'm not being political. I'm just saying that that's what it is. You may have some that were what's the word for it, that may have been, whose intentions may have been good, but collectively, whether their intentions were good or not good, that's what they have did. They have profited off our condition.
Capitalism.
Okay? Huh?
Capitalism.
Right? I can't say capitalism, but now we're dealing with something else. I've been dealing with the whole party that be like, yeah, that's like, man, y'all in bad condition, but I can help you out of that condition. See, that ain't capitalism. Capitalism is straight up that 1%. But the people that come and smile in your face, they're not smiling in our face. Matter of fact, we don't even see their face. Only person, that 1% that I see is Jerry Jones. What's his name? Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I love it when he be on the sideline looking pissed off every time they make a bad play. He's that 1%. But you don't see the owner of Walmart and the owner of these other people, man. They in their little islands, they doing their thing, living their life. You get to see Jerry Jones every week though on TV. But but we're talking about a political party that profits on, the same guy that come up in our churches and campaign for the next election, promise you this, that, or the other, and your neighborhood still is the same. Politician after politician, mayor after mayor, whatever. Again, I'm not trying to sound, it's not a political thing, but I'm not of any political party. I think it's ignorant for anybody to declare a political party and be like, I have relatives like that too. I think that's so ignorant. Whatever these people say, that's what you go along with. Because that's our party line. That's crazy to me. That's a whole nother lesson. Go ahead.
Isaiah 51:18. There is none to guide her among all the sons whom she had brought forth. Neither is there any that take her by the hand of all the sons that she had brought up. These two things are coming to you. Who shall be sorry for you?
Right, nobody.
Desolation and destruction and the famine and the sword. But whom shall I comfort you?
Right, like, look, hey, when the Father do these things with this people, they be like, look, I don't want nothing else to do with it.
They don't.
Right. Well, if I can profit through it, I might smile in your face for a minute. I won't go home with an empty bag, that's for sure. Go ahead.
Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets is a wild bull in a net.
That's right. And now we have TV shows that feature these sons that's lying at the head of all streets as a wild bull in the net. You know, we just lost one recently. He died of a, they say, drug overdose, right? I know what I'm talking about. My man, huh?
Who?
Michael Williams from The Wire.
Oh, okay.
Right. He definitely represented this passage that we're reading about. That's what he portrayed. Our sons are like a wild bull hanging at the head of all streets. A wild bull in that. Go ahead.
They are full of the fury of Yahweh, the rebuke of Yah.
That's right. We see them on the corner of the street. You walk and mind your own business, and 9 times out of 10, I mean, unless you know them, you gotta cross the street, and go down some other street. Anybody ever experienced that before? Walking down the street and you see these guys, and when I say guys, I mean more than 2. 2, 3, 4. Man. He said they are full of the fury of Yah, the rebuke of Elohim. Go ahead.
Verse 21. Therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. They say Yahweh, the master, thou Elohim that plead the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again, but I will put it into the hand of them that afflict you, which I said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and as a street to them that went over.
Wait a minute, slow down. Oh man, did y'all get that? 23. Thus says Yah, thus says thy master Yahuwah and thy Elohim that pleaded the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink again. But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. Thou hast laid thy body. But until then, that's what they're doing to us. The ones that afflict us, that they are sticking the Father's hand. All right? You wanted to bring something out of that on Isaiah 46, you said? Isaiah 44?
No, I'm straight.
You straight?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Was it because you thought it was 42? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I had getting me some.
I knew that's what it was. All right. Psalm 44. Psalm 44.
Listen, are you sure this time?
See, this is crazy. You can read these passages to anybody, and they can't help but have the image in their mind as they read these passages. It's like this one right here.
Said Psalm 44.
Yep. I don't even want to expound on any of this. I just want to read it. And you can picture it however the way you want to. Okay? Man, pick us up at verse 8.
Verse 8. And Elohim, we boast all day long. And praise thy name forever.
That's right,
Say
boy. I'm blessed and highly favored all day long. All day long. Blessed and highly favored. Hallelujah. All day long. That's what we do. He says all day. We just read that all day long. Absolutely. When you see me, you have to know that God is on my side. If you don't know nothing else, he walks with me, he talks with me, he tells me that I am his own. That's right. All day long. Huh?
No, I was just remembering, this has been some years ago that I had watched a YouTuber, he's a white guy, and he just talked about, why does black people always say that they are blessed and highly favored?
What?
The person that lives in the truth, that, is aware of the truth.
Yeah.
He said that would be the, because he understood we were.
Oh,
That, you know, he said that he always said you're blessed and highly favored, but this is what you know what I mean, what the Father has done for you.
wow,
That's it. Yeah.
wow. Mm-mm-mm.
Mm.
See, the other thing, okay. That had to sound like a contradiction, though, when you hear that, though. Like, really? But anyway, that's what it is. That's what we do. Collectively, we do it all day long. Verse 9.
Uh-huh. But get what? Thou hast cast off and put us to shame. Go not forth with our arms.
That's right. See, what's coming out of my mouth is a little bit different from what the reality is. You have put us to shame and goes not forth with our armies. Go ahead.
Thou make us turn back from the enemy. They which hate us spoil for themselves.
They that hate us. If you know who your enemy is, and you ain't gonna be doing like your enemy. Seriously. You're gonna know who your enemy is and identify your enemy. And I like how the scriptures use that term enemy. Because even out of your enemy, there are some of them that can be saved, that can be taught to the truth. Aesthetically, they're your enemy as a people, but out of your enemy, there are some that can be brought into this truth. Go ahead.
Thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat, and scatter us among the heathen.
Oh, wait a minute. The Father, he's letting us know throughout again that he's the one that did this. You have given us like sheep appointed for meat. The meat is for who? It's for the enemy, the nations. You the one that caused us to be meat and sheep to these nations, right? Go ahead. And has scattered us among the heathen. You don't even have to stretch to try to make this fit. You don't even have to stretch it. Go ahead.
Go ahead, 12.
Yep.
Thou said thy people for not now read down,
Right. That's right.
and does not increase thy will by that price.
Nope. Only thing that he do is he just be comforted by the fact that we're going through this. That's sad. You ain't gonna find a lot of people that teaches this truth, because I ain't never heard of nobody that really bring it like this. But the Father takes comfort in the fact that we're going through the stuff that we're going through, because that's just how wretched our ancestors were. He don't make no money, no profit. He just be like, oh, man. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. 13, thou make us a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn, a derision to them that are round about us.
You, Abba, you to make us a reproach to our neighbors. And I, to a certain degree, I have to stand corrected on that. At the end of the day, we made ourselves to be a reproach to our neighbors. But because everything in the commandments is all cause and effect. See, a lot of it, we be thinking that like the Father just threw out this magic spell and now we curse. No, it's cause and effect. If you do this, that, or the other, you keep doing it, you're going to have to reap the consequences of it. Simple as that.
But do you think that the Most High, you know how a picture of Egypt, right? And how there are scriptures that talk to Elohim hardening Pharaoh's heart.
Right.
Right. So I'm thinking, is it possible that Elohim hardened some of our hearts, or it's, you know what I mean, because of the curses? Because you're going to have to go through this. And like you said, he's comforted. So I'm going to harden their hearts so that they do have to go through the trials and you know what I mean? All of that.
There's another passage, I wish I could think of it. When he says something unless they hear and be healed or something like that.
Oh,
I'm trying to get it, and it speaks to what you're saying. Like I don't even want them to even hear unless they be healed and be converted.
Yeah.
The word converted.
Converted, yeah.
Yeah, I need to find that passage. That's what speaks to what you're talking about. Hold on one second. I got to find that.
Right.
But you spoke that. Matter of fact, it's in the Old Testament and the New Testament. I think in the New Testament, matter of fact, I think that's Romans 11, now that I think about it. Romans 11, I think it tells us something similar to that. But he's quoting out of the law. That's a real good question. And he told us something concerning that, what you just said.
Because even Pharaoh thought to defend himself. And before he could even do that, the Most High hardened his heart. But that was because Pharaoh had already hardened his heart previously. And then right when he was about ready to defeat him, he was followed by God to kill him. Now he's hardened your heart so that for this cause of our race.
Is that Matthew 13? I'm looking at my thing here. I need to find that.
I got Mark 4:12.
Is that what you got?
Yeah, and then Isaiah 6:10.
Right. The Matthew 13 is the same thing that Mark 4. So read that what you got there. Yeah.
Mark 4:12. That seeing they may see and
But
not
go
perceive.
above that, I think.
No.
Go above that.
Mark 4:12.
4:11.
Let me see, is that how far you need to go? But yeah, that's absolutely. And he's quoting out of the scriptures here. Yeah.
6.
Oh, yeah,
Isaiah 6.
Okay, yeah, you can read that. You can read that.
Well, we at Mark
4,
4.
yeah, 4 and 11.
I'm gonna start at 10. And when he was alone, they were about him with 12 asked of him a parable. And he said unto them, unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of Elohim. But unto them that are without, all these things are done in parables, that seeing they may see and not perceive, and hearing they may hear and not understand, lest at any time they shall be converted, and their transgression shall be forgiven them.
Do that kind of fit to what you was asking? Does that kind of fit?
Let me see Isaiah 6:10.
Huh?
Because in a way, it doesn't.
Yeah, because he said, unto you is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of Elohim. But unto them that without or outside, all these things are done in parables, that seeing they may see and not perceive. Ain't that funny how that's fitting right inside this lesson? Isaiah 42, we read that seeing, but they observe not. Seeing that they not perceive, and hearing they may hear and not understand, lest at any time they should be converted and their sins should be forgiven them. Huh? That's crazy.
You want to get Isaiah 6:10?
Okay, where we at?
Isaiah 6:10.
Isaiah 6 chapter or 6?
Check 6.
6, okay.
Start from verse 1.
Hold on.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Isaiah 6:9. Now I know Tondale ain't got her flip game coming up over there.
No.
Oh yeah? And he said, go and tell his people.
Hey, you know what? Start this psalm at verse 4. Start this at verse 5.
Isaiah 6:5. Then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, Yahuwah of hosts. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongs from off the altar. Is that a angel?
Seraphim, yep. Like cherubim and other hymns and all them, yeah.
All them hymns.
Yep.
And he laid it upon my mouth and said, lo, this hath touched thy lips, and thine iniquity is taken away, and thy sin purged. Also I heard the voice of Yahuwah saying, whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then I said, here I am, send me. And he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not.
Yep.
And see ye indeed, but perceive not.
Yep.
Make the heart of their people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart and convert and be healed.
Wow. That has to answer that directly. Like, man, hey, the period of time that y'all had to get right is over. It's too late. I will make sure y'all feel all of this, and I ain't gonna feel bad when y'all do when I do this thing. Yeah.
Verse 11. Then said I, Master, how long? And he answered, until the city be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate. And Yahuwah have removed men far away, and there be a great forsaking in the midst of the land. But yet, and it shall be a tenth, and it shall return, and there shall be eaten, and shall be eaten. As a teal tree, as in an oak, whose substance is in them. When they cast their leaves, so the holy seed shall be the substance thereof.
Wow. Wow. So to be able to just come out of all of this, y'all, that our people dealing with, and the Father, that this right here proves to you that the Father has directly awakened you. Directly awakened you. Because all of us was doing all the stuff we wasn't supposed to be doing. But the Father has directly awakened you.
That also answers the question of how come when you talk to people, you may know even our friends.
Right. Again, right.
They can't understand.
Can't comprehend it.
Yeah.
Can't comprehend it.
Because we were there too. I remember, looking back and people saying stuff to me, it was like,
And you know what I like? Like with certain people, especially people you close to, and say, "Oh, you know what? It's Saturday. We're gonna hook up. We're gonna do this. Oh, wait, I forgot. You doing a Bible study Saturday, right? Oh, you're gonna ask me the question, right? You ain't gonna say, "Oh, I forgot." You're gonna ask me just to be like,
right.
"It's possible that I might not be." And me and you can hook up and do this thing Saturday. But it's like, really? No, this is not a fad, okay? This is not me just for today, okay? Yeah, next Saturday, me and you, we're gonna hook it up. Yeah.
It's interesting. It's interesting is that, when I started coming into the truth,
Right.
people always ask, well, how did you, it wasn't like if you're in any type of religion, people don't really ask you those questions about, when I look into part of this congregation I was part of before, it's like, well, how did you come into this truth? Did someone reach out to you? Did we come, reach out to you? How did you come into it? So it was almost like I was getting that question all the time.
Yeah.
How did I come into this truth?
Right.
And these were Gentiles that
Oh,
asking
okay.
me that.
Wow. Wow.
And I just told them, I said, no, I just looked you all up. I was just trying to find, people that celebrated the holy days.
Right.
And they was just like, and they still didn't, believe me.
Wow. Wow.
I was going to say something silly about, we were rewatching the Boondocks, and there's an episode where Huey's trying to tell the grandfather the truth about Christmas.
Yeah.
And he's talking to him and saying it's actually.
I say that to her all the time.
All this,
I say, Tonda. I say, you're boring, Tonda.
Yeah, and all he could hear was like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Right.
Nothing he was saying. So I was like, yeah, that's how it is when we're trying to.
He said, and the Romans, they celebrate the feast of Saturnalia. Wah, 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 wah. You're boring, Tonda. But you're right. That's a real good example. That mindset that he had is like, man, I don't think it ain't nothing you can tell me about this historically and spiritually. Anything else is contrary. I know that I was just made to cry over whatever it was he was crying about. Man, that episode was really deep, and it really showed who we are. Really, it really did. But so that was what was we at just now?
That whole show
Yeah.
itself as a whole.
Then we
Yeah.
in Psalms.
Oh yeah. Okay, we're still in that, right? Uh-huh. Go ahead.
14, I believe, verse 14.
Okay.
Thou make us a byword among the heathen,
Yeah.
shaking of the head among the people.
Wow. Byword among the heathen, a shaking of the head among the people. Man, who they shaking their head at?
The folks in Florida, a Florida man did this.
Man.
Yeah. Watch out for Florida. My brother sends them to me all the time. What about everybody in Florida on the gun? He always sends my sister on the gun every time. Only in Florida. Only in Florida.
You said he thought everybody in Florida only gun.
Yeah, because I guess somebody broke in the house, kind of almost assaulted their daughter. The dog barked. He was like,
Oh.
I thought everybody in Florida on the gun.
Man, it be crazy still though. Florida man molested the iguana. Florida man did this.
Shoot, he thought what I thought. I think I told y'all this time we moved to Orlando, and we got hooked up with these people. They was Bible study class, and we sitting there about 10, 11 of us there. Everybody pulled out their sword, and we the only one there that had nothing, man. If I ain't never felt vulnerable in my life, being taught to sit there, enjoy the Bible study all day, everybody pulled out they gas.
It was weird because
What happened? Why they do that?
It wasn't nothing bad. It was just a casual thing. Oh, you might be.
No, but it was weird because the quietest one here, one of the brothers' wives, she's all like, oh, I'm going to on my now. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what is going on?
They be naked.
Yup. Man. Yeah. I don't even know why we still was like without arms from that day on. We should have never been without nothing. From that day, Isaiah 59.
We done with song?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, what kind of Trump malicious stuff is going on around here? Isaiah 59 and start this at first.
Isaiah 59, starting at verse 1. Behold, Yahuwah's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy, that it cannot hear. But your iniquity has separated between you and your Elohim, and your sin has hid faith from you, that he would not hear.
Wow. Have hid his face from us. See, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. Father cannot be just directly looking at the worst part of us in our community and seeing all this injustices happening over and over again, and you cannot know for a fact that the Father has hid his face from us. He tells us that throughout the whole scriptures. I hid my eyes from them. I hid my face from them. We never read that in the church and so that he hid his face from us. But even though it's obvious. Go ahead.
For your hand are defiled with blood, and your fingers with iniquity, and your lips have spoken lies, and your tongue have much perverseness. None call for justice, nor any plea for truth. They trust in vanity.
That's right. That's what we trust in. Money is vanity, y'all. The nice suits, nice cars, and all this stuff that we have somehow been able to acquire in this society, that's all vanity. Uh-huh.
So they trust in vanity, and they speak lies. They conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity. They hatch cockatrice eggs, and weave the spider's web. He that eat of the eggs dieth, and that which crush break out into a viper. Their webs shall not become garments, neither shall they cover themselves with their works. Their works are works of iniquity, and the act of violence is in their hands. Their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed innocent blood. Their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity, wasting in destruction are in their paths. The way of peace they know not.
Right, that's why we always fighting on it.
So don't not.
Always fighting, man. I don't even understand that, man. We even got TV shows with that. Now I be thinking to myself, I can't even remember the last time I got into a fight with somebody. But then you watch these TV shows, you like that, and every day they wondering who they're gonna get in a fight with. You know, yeah, I'm talking about reality shows or whatever. It's like, man, what's with this? Or just the fact that even if it's not a fight, it's always got to be an argument. When it's more than 3 or 4 of us together, and then it's like, I'll be like, man, why would you even have to say something to this person about that? You know, it's just crazy.
You remember when I think it was like 5 years ago, they kept having all these streams of all of these gang fights.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was just going around the whole
Yeah.
country. And it was horrible of
Mhm.
these kids.
Mhm.
And it just made us,
yep,
yeah, it made us look bad.
yep. And what they shout out when they do that? When you see that, y'all see them fight videos, they shout out
World Star.
World Star, World Star, huh? World Star still in effect, boy. Oh yeah, it's still there. When they got anything to do with us causing confusion, that's World Star. But that's what it is. Verse 8, the way of peace they know not, and there is no judgment in their goings. They have made them crooked paths, whosoever goeth there and shall not know peace. That's probably one of the reasons why Yashrael tell us to agree with your adversary quickly. That's probably one of the reasons why he says that. You know, you got your adversary, man. Look, as a servant of the Most High, you just don't even allow yourself to even, you know, because your adversary, if we're dealing with something spiritual or whatever it is, when somebody does wrong, they know that they're doing wrong. 9 times out of 10 or 99 times out of 100, they know that they're doing wrong. And you think you're going to convince that person that know they're doing wrong, that they're doing wrong. And then that same person that you're trying to convince is 9 out of 10 are entertained by you, because that's what I want to be entertained, because you going off at this, that, or the other. Ching, ching, I win. That's all I really wanted, you know. Man, I hate to put my brother on the spot. Damn, I hate to put my brother on the spot. We watched the show, reality show, I'm going to call it because, hey, they put it out there, so I can put it out there. Black in Chicago. You've seen the end of the last episode, you didn't see the new episode. Yeah. I have to call him out. See, here's the thing. The star of that show, Ryan, y'all seen that before?
I never seen
You never seen that? Yeah. The Chicago version stars Ryan Henry.
Okay.
I know his dad. I went to school with his dad. And that's one of the many cats that she just was so in love with. My son, whatever. But anyway, I hate it. Dude, and I don't even want to get Zodiac on y'all either, but he is one of them signs that just had to have everything his way. I'm sorry. But you know, anyway, what happened was, you just said that he slept with his friend's girl. Okay. And so in this episode, he's having a dialogue with dude that they were tight. And the brother like, I just want to know why you did whatever. And they going back and forth hard. Like, he did, I'm paraphrasing. He's like, the dude's like, man, I'm just trying to see the logic in that. And I'm not logical. That's what he's saying. And he's hollering, screaming back at the dude, like, all that you talking about, yeah, I was wrong, but I don't have an explanation to why I do this. I'm not logical. I'm just saying, when I saw that, I'm like, it just represents us as a whole, because we even will fight and still be wrong at the same time. Like, he knew he was wrong, But he couldn't even not even say nothing and just let the dude that he wrong just have his thing. But he not, yeah. But I mean, it was just, if you ever see that episode, it's the latest one right now. And it's like, man, it's like, I'm like, well, why are you even talking? You don't even have a point, but you going off on this dude like you got a point. And this dude ain't
Because
here.
they're embarrassed.
Huh?
It's an embarrassment to themselves.
Man, that is just a spiritual thing.
It is a spiritual thing. I think it's an embarrassment thing too. So you try to over talk the person, but if you don't actually have to hear from that person the wrong that you did to them, it feels even worse. And I think that's what it is.
Not even just that, I'm just gonna say something. When a person says something to you, and this is what I get from a lot of people that I know. If someone says something to you and they feel like it's in an attack mode, maybe raising your voice, people feel like they need to escalate themselves on that saying.
Right.
You know, playing field. Instead of being humble and not saying anything. I had saw something, and it was a lady that they were other people, you know, Gentiles were attacking her. And they were yelling at her and they were doing all these things.
Was she a sister?
Yeah, it was on another reality show.
Okay.
And she took it. She didn't say anything, you know, she didn't say anything, but people felt like she needs to defend herself more. But
Right.
a lot of times, when you know people are in the wrong, let them, you know, let it, if you sit there and go to their level, then people are going to remember where you were at.
Ooh.
Instead of allowing them to show their true colors.
Ooh.
Now, if they are louder, if they are louder and they're doing these things, sometimes you just have to sit back. You don't have to go back and retaliate or get mad, even though you were wrong.
That's a good point.
Sometimes you just have to sit back.
Yeah.
Let their shoe come and show.
That's in every last one of us. That we always have to be justified.
Yeah.
Without thinking about it. It ain't even nothing that we think about. You know, it ain't nothing that we think about.
But not when you're wrong, though.
Huh?
I feel like when you're wrong, and then somebody, and the person that you wronged is confronting you, like you really need to be quiet. Like in the situation that you're talking about, I'm like, man, I don't know why you're arguing when you know you're wrong. Like you know.
Yeah.
It's that part for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know about that.
Right. But I like what you. That was good.
She's right about
right.
That's what it is.
Sometimes you just don't have to say anything, but people feel as though that they have to say.
Yeah, you got
like
you got
someone yelling at
on
me,
a whole nother level though.
But sometimes we just have to
Yeah.
sit back and we have to
It's a certain level
humble
of maturity.
ourselves.
Yeah, that spirituality is a way above. That's like I say. That's why Yashrael said, disagree with your adversary quickly. Quickly, just let your adversary have his thing. Because that's in the dark will always come out to the light. Always come out to the light. Same person that you try to justify yourself to, they might be your worst enemy now. But they'll come out. I'm gonna tell you, I shouldn't say this either. I had a problem, and the reason why I'm thinking about this the other day, I would have had people that were like real close to me. Tom is a witness. That do me in a way which I would have never ever thought. And I just couldn't understand it. And every last one of them people, every last one of them come back to me and they be the exact same way. They apologize and they could not say what it was that made them be like that. What it was. And so I'm sure if I experienced that, I know you guys had to experience that same thing. Had to experience it. And the whole thing was, again, you got to let people be in their season, let them handle whatever it is they got going on. The worst thing you could do is try to reason with them out of this spirit that they're entertaining right now. I'm sure that there's a verse in Sirach that addresses that. Trying to reason with an unreasonable spirit. But anyway, we in that.
What is that, verse 9? I don't know if you wanted to end it there.
That's how I said we skipped it out there 59, right?
Yeah.
Hold on one second. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Therefore, judgment far from us, neither will justice overtake us. We wait for light, but behold obscurity for brightness. Or we walk in darkness. We grope for the wall like the blind, and we grope as if we had no eyes. We stumble at noonday as in the night. We are in desolate places as dead
You
men.
see that at the top of 9 said, therefore is judgment far from us. No matter how much we look for that judgment, man, it ain't nowhere near us. Neither do justice overtake us. Now, from a common sense dynamic, like you were saying, that you don't see how people do that, that just ain't the way we get down like that. Well, we just be hollering and bring forth more injustice and more injustice after injustice. But it don't be nowhere near us. But and check this out. Here it is again. See where we at? Go ahead.
Verse 10, we grope for the wall like the blind, and we grope as if we had no eyes. We stumble at noonday as in the night. We are in desolate places as dead men.
But wasn't that Deuteronomy 28, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But go ahead. Look at this though. Go ahead.
Verse 11, we roar like bears and mourn sore like doves.
That's right. Roar like bears, man.
Mm-hmm.
Loud, and just
that voice.
Man, just can be in a rage. But then when that trouble hits us, it says that we mourn sore like doves. Go ahead.
We look for judgment, but there is none. For salvation, but it is far from us. For our transgressions are multiplied before you, and our sins testify against us. For our transgressions are with us, and as for our own iniquities, we know them. In transgressing and lying against Yahuwah, departing away from our Elohim, speaking oppression and revolt, conceiving and uttering from the heart words of falsehood, and judgment is turned away backward, and justice stand afar off. But truth following in the street, and equity cannot enter.
Yeah, you can stop there. Hallelujah. Man, it's impossible not to see us in these passages here. We are the same yesterday, today, but prophetically not forever. See, it's good that we go through a lesson like this, and then we find ourselves in these adverse situations. We are no better in how to deal with it. Deal with it. Instead of trying to reason out of it. Matthew, the 23rd chapter. I only got a few more after this, y'all. Matthew, 23rd chapter. Matthew 23rd, and start this off at verse 1.
Matthew 23, verse 1. Then spake Yashrael to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Shemaiah's seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, and they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. But all the words they do for to be seen of men, they make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garment. Phylacteries.
What you get?
No. I was thinking about phylacteries.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we wear phylacteries?
Right. Yeah.
I thought phylacteries. No.
It says ZZ's in there.
It says ZZ. So it. Okay. And over verse 6, and love the uppermost rooms at feasts and the chief seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the markets, and be called of men, Rabbi.
So these are our so-called leaders, man. This fit all of them to a T. Like in good times, now it wasn't a preacher on there, but it was the alderman that this remind me of. Y'all remember him? Good times. Alderman Davis, that was bad. He had bald head. He always would come,
I think I.
yeah, and try to take advantage of the Evans family. But he wouldn't do none of these things, but he loved to be noticed and just to have this notoriety, whatever. But we all had that in our neighborhoods. These men that act like that. But Skip down to verse 23.
23. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone. Ye blind guides, which strain at a knot and swallow a camel. Woe unto you, scribes and
Like
Pharisees.
the Israelites right there.
Is that right? Ye blind guides, which strain at a knot and swallow a camel. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye may clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. Thou blind Pharisee, let's see him. Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also.
Right. So get yourself straight before you try to get somebody else straight. Well, really?
Yeah.
Check yourself before you wreck
Right.
yourself.
Yeah,
Right.
there you go.
So what we at? Verse 27. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrite, for ye are like unto witted sepulchres,
Oh,
whited sepulchres,
Right.
which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men bones, and of all uncleanness. Even so ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity.
That's right. Well, they be dressed up, I don't care. Dressed up. Nice.
To the T.
Suited and
That's
booted,
right.
with the lemon pepper steppers on.
There anybody come in and got something on that. What I got on that. Man.
Boy, all right.
Man.
Steve Harvey suits on.
Right. From his preacher collection. Go ahead.
Verse 29.
Israelites do the same way.
I
The same way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I be wondering about this too. This is above my pay grade though. Now we have t-shirts. It's cool. But it's a t-shirt, right? But you know, it's all these groups. You see in new groups, and they be having like their own robes. Have y'all noticed that? When you watch the different, I mean, I ain't talking about the biggest class. I'm talking about class that you ain't never
Come on, with some
seen.
nice arm guards.
Yeah, all of that.
Sit for a st-
I'm like, man, what store do they get this stuff from? I can understand the bigger groups where they have them, like UIC today, you know, the God and that, but then these groups that be like, something you ain't never heard of, the Sons of Light. And then they got to say that they got the colors, and then they got the leaders, we have the role, like you said,
Yeah,
and all
girders on.
what store do they get this stuff from? Man.
They doing the big though, boy.
Huh?
They doing the big.
Man. Like in Dallas, they be having a new one pop up every other week. They be on YouTube, brand new ones, and they the only one that be looking basically like Great Millstone. They don't really be having it like that. Right, they just put on a tunic or whatever. They don't be the same colors or whatever. But all the other ones, man, you like, man. Yeah, who y'all Taylor? Go ahead.
29. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrite, because ye build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous, and say, if we had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets.
Nope.
Wherefore, ye be witnesses unto yourselves that ye are the children of them which killed the prophets. Fill ye up the measure of your fathers, ye serpents, ye generation of vipers. How can we escape the damnation of hell? Question mark. Wherefore, behold, I send you the prophets unto you prophets, and wise men and scribes, and some of them ye shall kill and crucify, and some of them shall ye scourge in your synagogues and persecute them from city to city.
Okay, stop right there. Yes, that's talking about our leaders. They are religious leaders. They have not changed. Same ones like had that spirit then, they had a spirit now. Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter. It's pretty much going to say some of the same stuff we just read.
Jeremiah 26.
No, 2. Verse 1.
Moreover, 2 and 1 of Jeremiah, more of the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, Go and cry in the ears of Yahuwah, saying, That say Yahuwah, I remember you, the kindness of Yahuwah, the love of thy spouse. When thou went after me in the wilderness, in the land that was not sown, Israel was righteousness unto the Yahuwah. And the first fruits of his increase, all that devour him shall offend, evil shall come upon them, say Yahuwah. Hear ye the word of Yahuwah, O house of Yaakov, and all the families of the house of Yashrael. Thus say Yahuwah, what iniquity have your father found in me, that they are gone far from me, and have walked after vanity, and I become vain.
So he just asked me the question again, just like in Isaiah. What more could I have done to this vineyard? And he's like, man, what iniquity have your fathers? And he could ask us the same thing. Have our fathers found in him that they are gone far from me and have walked after vanity and are become vain? Go ahead.
Oh, verse 6. Neither said they, whereas Yahuwah that brought us up out of the land of Mizraim, that led us through the wilderness, through a land of desert and of pits, through a land of drought and of the shadow of death, through a land that no man passed through, and where no man dwelt. And I brought you into a plentiful country, to eat the fruit thereof and the goodness thereof. But when ye entered, ye defiled my land, and made my heads an abomination.
Right, it's just crazy because that's another thing. I wish I could find something that speaks towards this. It's that I'm sure it's in here somewhere. I just didn't have it in this lesson. Concerning how our memory just runs so short. It runs, and it's like that today, y'all. We the same people today as we were yesterday. Our memory runs short. As great as the things that happened in Exodus chapter 12, Passover, coming up out of Mizraim, and all that, and now we're here in the wilderness. Shemaiah gone up into a mountain for 40 days, and we down there worshiping a golden calf. If that ain't short, and it's a calf that we saw in Mizraim on top of that. And we're the same people the same way like that today. You know, how do I know that? Because something can happen to us and it be national news. We all mad or whatever. Then just let time go past and nothing happens. And we still live the same way until the next tragedy event happens. Here we go.
The system is set up like that.
Huh?
The system is set up that way. I
Sure.
feel, because I know this for myself anyway. I'll just speak for me. I have to, go to work. I have to pay bills. I have to, it's constant. It keeps
Right.
those bills are like clockwork, right?
Right.
So it just makes you move on and not focus too long on any one thing. You know what I mean?
But ain't nobody else like that but us, though.
I was just thinking.
Yeah, ain't nobody else like that but us. If something can happen
If it's
to a
something
whole.
that happens, like I was using the Bill Cosby, that happened to a majority of people that don't look like us. They have to let it go. They have not let that thing go. They
Oh,
still
man.
doing it, even now. So,
You make a good point because that entity that Bill Cosby went to jail for, I'm pretty sure she did look like that when he supposed to have went through that. Again, I'm cracking but facting. You like, damn, Bill Cosby, make me understand, or as Kevin say, make it make sense. But yeah, but that's absolutely right. So it's like other people go through it and that they handle that, they deal with that to the best of their ability. But for us, we get mad and we, just like it says, lift up our voice like, what it said, like bears.
Yeah.
That what it said, bears.
Then start crying like a dog.
Start crying like a dog.
So
Are we the only ones that do that? Everybody else, they go, and just like, again, 4th of July, all the stuff that they observe is all part of their history. And they let their history be the forefront of their whole existence. We had a history too, but that history didn't last but 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and it was it. Father told us to teach our children's children, and we caused our children to pass through the fire. All these things that we did, contrary to this thing that we supposed to really been wearing on our sleeve, our heritage. But let's see, what verse you
yeah, verse 8.
verse? Okay.
The priest said not, where's Yahuwah? And they that handled the law knew me not. The pastors also transgressed against me. And the prophet prophesied by that boy, and walk after these things, and they walk after things that do not profit.
That was Jeremiah 2:8. But he's saying kind of like the same stuff that Yashrael said in Matthew 23, according to how our leaders just ignore what thus says the Most High. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Wherefore I will yet plead with you, say Yahuwah, and with your children will I plead. For pass over the isles of Chittim and see, and send unto Kedar, and consider diligently and see if there be such a thing.
So let's look at that right there. I know that sounds kind of weird just looking at it. Chittim, who is Chittim? Anybody know who Chittim is?
That's a Gentile nation, right?
Yeah, it is.
Kazan. Is it not?
I thought you would know automatically who Chittim is, because they have a doctrine about Chittim. Anybody? Huh? Rome. Right. See, this is part of that doctrine that he tried to make Edom be the white man, because Edom and Chittim got together, or Rome got together, they became one nation or whatever. But no, Chittim is Rome. Absolutely. So he's basically saying, pass over the isles of the Gentiles and send them to Kedar and consider diligently and see if there be such a thing. So in other words, he's telling you, man, this is so deep. This is deep to me. He's telling y'all to look at these Gentiles, just like what I just said even before we got here. See if they do what y'all do. That's heavy. It's deep to me because I've never taught it like this before, but that's exactly what he said. Pass over the isles of the Gentiles, kid them, and look and see if they do just what y'all do. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 11. Have a nation changed their idols, which are yet no gods? For my people have changed their glory for that which don't profit.
Let me tell y'all something. The first time I read that verse right there, it changed everything for me. You ain't ever gonna make me accept that JESUS as the name of the Messiah. This verse single-handedly, like, it annihilated it. But he said, look, go over there and see what they do and consider diligently to see if there be such a thing. Have a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods? Because I told y'all clearly that when you go into the nation where I send you, there you're gonna be serving gods of wood and stone. So don't be trying to tell me that the name of this God of wood and stone is the Messiah, because they have not changed their gods.
No.
You the only one that changed your God. Man, the first time I read this verse, it just totally knocked me out. It just totally knocked me out. It might not even be a spirit of y'all right here if it wasn't for this verse single-handedly, man. It blew my mind. It was like, wow. You're not gonna ever have me try to sell it back as a transliteration. It don't fit. These nations are still serving the same deity that they've been worshiping because they respect it. That's why you can teach Jeremiah 10th chapter all day long. That's nice, but I'm still gonna put this tree up right after Thanksgiving or Lord's Day, right? As Morea Kazak brought out with the thing about the Thursday, Thursday. Why is Thanksgiving always on the Thursday? They have not changed their deities. Man, they have not changed their deities. And it's funny too because in one of the movies, you will see them having a little feast in Asgard, and they eating the turkey leg and all that. And we looking at it, but yeah, but oh yeah, yes.
Whole table like a what?
The whole table like a Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving,
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Man, he say have a up man, that little verse rocked my world. Have a nation change their gods, but shall yet no gods? That's their gods, but I'm telling you, they are not gods or Elohim, whatever.
In other words, they haven't done anything for them, and they still worship.
Exactly.
You've done stuff for us.
And you change in a heartbeat, in a minute, in a vapor. I'm sorry, go ahead.
12. Be astonished, O ye heavens, at this, and be horribly afraid. Be ye very desolate, said Yahuwah. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? The young lions roared upon him and yelled. They made his land waste. His cities are burned without inhabitants. Also the children of Nob, Tahapanis, have broken the crown of thy head. Hast thou not procured this unto thyself, and that thou hast forsaken Yahuwah thy Elohim when he led thee by the way?
Okay, you can stop there. Yeah. Hold on. Oh man. All right, we're gonna stop there. This whole chapter's bad, so I'm gonna cut it short. So let's go on to Jeremiah 31, y'all. You're gonna get a little bit of that prophetically not forever part. This is the prophetically not forever part of the lesson. 31. Jeremiah 31. You get there to start at verse 1.
Jeremiah 31, verse 1. At the same time, said Yahuwah, will I be the Elohim of all the families of Yashrael, and they shall be my people.
So really, technically, even though we praise the Most High, he brings us back, he ain't the Elohim of all of us yet. Right? Can't be the Elohim and then your face is hid from us at the same time. But at the same time, it ain't about what he did, it's about what we're doing. He ain't our Elohim because we're serving gods of wood and stone right now. Huh? Part of the curse. Some of us are going to come up out of that, and some of us refuse to come up out of that. He said, at that same time, says Yah, will, future tense, I be the Elohim of all the families of Yashrael. They should be my people. Go ahead.
Thus said Yahuwah, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Yashrael, when I went to cause them to rest. Yahuwah have appeared of old unto me, saying, yea, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore, with loving kindness have I drawn you.
That's the only way we could draw other people, with that same loving kindness. Can't draw them no other kind of way. Can't. Only with that same loving kindness as he drew us. Go ahead.
Again, I will build you, and thou shalt be built, O virgin of Yashrael. Thou shalt again be adorned with thy tabrets, and shall go forth in the dances of them that make merry.
I like every time you say daughter, because he's letting us know that he's talking about a future time. When you say daughter, like when you say daughter of Babylon, he ain't dealing with that present day Babylon. He's dealing with this future Babylon we're talking about. So go ahead.
Verse 5, thou shalt yet plant vines upon the mountains of Samaria. The planter shall plant, and shall eat them as common things. For there shall be a day that the watchman upon the Mount Ephraim shall cry, Arise ye, and let us go up to Zion unto Yahuwah our Elohim. For thus said Yahuwah, sing with gladness for Yaakov, and shout among the chief of the nations. Publish ye, praise ye, and say, O Yahuwah, save thy people, the remnant of Yashrael. Behold, I will bring them from the north country, and gather them from the coast of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child, and her that travail with child together. A great company shall return there. They shall come with weeping, and with supplication will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of water in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Yashrael, and Ephraim my firstborn. Hear the word of Yahuwah, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles of far off, and say, He that scattered Yashrael will gather him, and keep him, as a shepherd do his flock.
So again, we are reminded that the Father is the one that scattered us, y'all. Go ahead.
For Yahuwah have redeemed Yaakov and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he.
Absolutely.
Therefore they shall come and sing in the height of Zion, and shall flow together to the goodness of Yahuwah, for wheat and for wine, and for oil and for the young of the flock and of the herd. Their soul shall be as a water garden, and they shall not sorrow any more at all. Then shall the virgin rejoice in the dance, both young men and old together. For I will turn them mourning into joy, and will comfort them, and make them rejoice for their sorrow. And I will satiate the soul of the priest with fatness, and my people shall be satisfied with my goodness, say Yahuwah.
Okay, skip down to verse 22.
Verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For Yahuwah hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man.
Wow.
Thus said Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Yashrael, as yet they shall use this speech in the
Hold on, I
land.
gotta stop right there. I gotta stop right there for a second. You know,
I think that's the first going on right now.
you know, but see at the same time though, well, first of all, we see that the Father said that this was gonna happen. A woman shall compass a man. And some mores, they'll read something like this, and they will absolutely, how do I say it? And this, I'm speaking out from my own opinion. I would say that. But they'll use something like this to reduce sisters, reduce women, you know, and reduce them to a second-class status. And I don't know if y'all have seen other Hebrew teachers or whatever, and they do just this, and that's just not something that sits well in my spirit, because the truth of the matter is that prophetically, the Father made it clear that in his last days, He's gonna do what? Help me out. Come on. What He gonna do?
All flesh.
On all flesh, and that includes what? What it say?
Women, everybody.
Yeah, but it says that about the sons and daughters say they're gonna prophesy. So you know, as men, I just have an issue with certain ways that certain teachers try to reduce women to this, that, or the other. When we're just,
What they call it? Toxic masculinity?
well, that's what they call it. That's what they call it. But I'm just saying that we have to just understand that, man, all of us right now have been reduced to just, man, nothing. And right now, Father righteously raised up a sister to do whatever it is that the Father had that sister to do. Who am I to kick against that? Who am I to kick against it? You know, if I ain't got no issues with a father pouring out his spirit on the donkey and the donkey bringing truth. And not that I'm comparing a woman to a donkey, but I'm just saying the father do what he do, and who am I to judge? I'm not nobody to judge, you know. But man, you be like, man, sister, you ain't supposed to be speaking. You ain't supposed to be saying nothing in the quote unquote church. Well, don't try to put whatever issue that Paul was dealing with as he was speaking with Timothy about whatever he was speaking with. What you can do is you can open up the law and show me where women were prohibited from saying this, that, or the other.
But maybe that,
And I'm down with it.
that's the, that I'm reading about, because we come to these circles, and I'm kind of thinking, and I was thinking back on Ruth, where the women kind of sheltered the men, in a sense, because they were just being murdered, because they knew that that's where our strength lies. And they kind of put the women.
Well, absolutely. I mean, this does not negate the righteous position that women should have in the community and in the family and all of that. And I'm not diminishing that at all, because absolutely, women, man, that your femininity is like the strongest force on the face of the earth. Huh?
Have mercy.
That right there is not even debatable. I'm sorry. But I'm just saying that, just that, the Father uses it who we will. That's all I'm just basically saying. That's all I'm basically saying. He uses who he will. Like you use the example of roots, and you use that example of roots. But then know that in the newer version of roots, which really, I believe that Kizzy was like that even in the old version. But she was like, man, she told them preachers, I ain't got no part in none of this right here. And she asked them a question out of scripture concerning the children of Israel, and they had no answer for her. But she let it be known, that stuff that y'all doing, that ain't what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't have no respect for that religious thing that y'all got going on. And but I'm saying, wasn't nobody else standing in the gap but her. And that's just the way it is sometimes. Sometimes a woman can be the only one in that position to stand in that gap when there ain't nobody else standing in the gap. And there just happen to be various stories in our history that show women standing in that gap and in the Apocrypha.
I think, like you said, somebody said it's a bad thing, but it's really not, because sisters keep things going. I mean, when they won't hire you, they hire me. I am me. So
that's how I'm saying. But see, we just got it so twisted. Absolutely, just like I'm gonna take exactly what you say, because to a certain extent, that's reality. And man, you keep working. I'm gonna sit at the crib. I'm gonna be on PlayStation all day because the white man can't stand my black ass. You see what I'm saying? We use crap like that to do the stuff that we do, justify.
But on the flip side of
that,
like you said, we're Adam and Eve. Going back to that.
Yeah.
She came from them being the same. So it's like you shouldn't discredit one for the other, because they are equal to each other.
Exactly.
And that's what
exactly
sad to say we've been doing for
exactly
years.
Correct. Yep. Absolutely. But again, when you read that, he's letting you know that, hey, in this time that we living in, man, we just need to be a little bit more mindful. Because we're not a nation no more. We barely are people. And he's just trying to wake us up one by one by one. We just have to put this thing in order. We know who Israel as a people is, but individually, we can't even prove that we're Israelites. Individually, because I don't know, probably 8 generations eternally, it might have been that Gentile. Great my mom ancestor, and then My great-great-great-granddaddy came up by that. Dog as I don't know what. I don't know. But yet, I'm gonna have a doctrine saying, look, Gentiles can't even be saved. And I'm a Gentile standing right here before y'all. That don't even make common sense.
Nah.
It don't make sense. But that's how come we have to understand the time that we're in today. Again, we know who Israel as a people is, but hey, he said, I'm gonna sow y'all, I'm gonna sow Israel. Well, he said, I'm a man with beasts. I'm gonna mingle the seed together. So, I mean, that's just the reality of it. I hate to be sitting up here talking about Gentiles can be saved, and I'm the main Gentile up here. I'm gonna be doing just what it said, how he said. You speak out against Satan, and you represent Satan. You curse yourself. Not just the people be thinking that what you teach should be based off of your own opinion or whatever, because it sounds good or whatever. There's a lot of stuff that I read in the scripture that I might not totally agree because it kicks at me, but I'm not gonna not teach it. You know, I hate to be looked on by the other Israelites because I like to tell them that we have to be a blessing to all nations, and then look at me like I made that up, like that came out of my own head. You know. Anyway, finish that out.
23. They say Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Yashrael, is yet they shall use this speech in the land of Yahudah and in the cities thereof, when I shall bring again their captivity. Yahuwah bless you. O habitations, O habitation of justice and mountain of holiness, and there shall dwell in Yahudah itself, and in all the cities thereof together, husbandmen, and they that go forth with flocks. For I have satiated the weary soul, and I replenished every sorrowful soul.
Well, you had to see that verse twice in this lesson. Wow, satiated. Go ahead.
Upon this I awake and beheld, and my sleep was sweet unto me.
Oh, I didn't know this was here. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
27. Behold, the day comes, say Yahuwah, that I will sow the house of Yashrael and the house of Yahuwah with the seed of man and with the seed of beast.
I forgot it was there. Yeah, I forgot it was there. I really did. I really did. I forgot it was there. Again, whatever you say, I'm gonna sow. So again, he's telling you what's happening in our days right now. You know, scripturally, you look in when we was in the Persian Empire, and they were bringing the Levites together. Some of them came talking about, I'm a Levite, but yet you couldn't even show your pedigree. And if you could show your pedigree, hey, you might think, no, you a Levite, but when you ain't got no proof, sorry, can't accept you. And that ain't changed even now. So,
Indian tribes.
huh?
That's how they do the Indian, the Native American tribes. They
Right.
show their papers.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. That's correct. And he ain't say other nations are gonna be what we just read here. He said us. I will sow the house of Yashrael. That's another thing. We try. Oh, see, we're not the 10 tribes, y'all. We're Yahudah. We're Yahudah. That's the first.
Look, and you put it right into the right.
Right. Right. Right. We're the same. I will sow the house of Yashrael and the house of Yahudah with the seed of man and with the seed of beast.
I wonder who we're referring to as beast.
Now, I was thinking the same thing.
Easy. It's the nations. It's the ones that I will send you to. Is who your seed gonna be sold with.
Right.
That's who the beast are.
Beast.
All
words like Israel and Judah are the same beast and man.
huh?
Are the same.
So again?
Just like Israel.
Right. Correct. Yeah. Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh yeah.
28.
Okay, 28. And it shall come to pass that, like as I have watched over them, to pluck up and to break down and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict, so will I watch over them to build, to plant.
That's why. Hold on for a second. Now you know where that come from, right? As it shall come to pass that like as I have watched over them to pluck up and to break down and to throw down and destroy and to split, so will I watch over them to build and to plant. Where else can you read that right there?
Like a time to destroy. Is that what you're talking about?
What's that?
Like a time to destroy and a time to plant? Is that what you mean?
No,
It's
not
almost
that.
like it's
Not
almost,
that one.
Oh,
it's almost like when you pleasure to see us do good, then he pleasure to see us do it too. Are you getting it?
No, that's what I'm getting at. Tom Lear, you ain't got no answer for that?
Wait, what's the question again?
We just read 28th verse. And it shall come to pass that like as I have watched over them to pluck up and to break down and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict, so will I watch over them to build and to plant, said Yahweh.
Oh, what hours like here, not little clock?
No.
Okay.
Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. Because here's the thing, just like what we just read here, there's one word that's missing that you're going to read in Deuteronomy 28th chapter. Deuteronomy the 28th chapter and verse,
You're tired.
huh?
You're supposed to say, nope.
Right, that's right. Nope. 63rd verse, read that. Deuteronomy 28th chapter and the 63rd verse. It reads almost the exact same way, except there's one word that's missing in Jeremiah that's not missing in this right here. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 63.
Uh-huh.
And it shall come to pass that as Yahweh rejoice over you to do for you to do you good and to multiply you, so Yahweh rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you not. That's what I was talking about. I just couldn't put it in the word. Will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught, and ye shall be plucked from all the land where you go to possess
See
it.
that? So it was the exact opposite. Exact opposite. But in Deuteronomy 28, there's one word that's there that you ain't going to see in Jeremiah. What key word is that?
Rejoice.
Rejoice is the key word, bro. Rejoice. It should come past as Yahuwah rejoice over you to do you good and to multiply you. So Yahuwah will rejoice over you to destroy you, y'all. Like I said, it ain't just he said, man, I got a whole lesson on this, man. He will rejoice over you to destroy you, to bring you to nothing. Man, we need to understand the mind of the Father and all this that he's doing. If you understood this part right there, you would never say nothing else about that Gentile ever again. Seriously. Seriously. Father rejoicing over getting our head beaten. Now we shaking our head against the heathen. That just don't even know why this stuff is going on. Oh, the heathen gonna be judged. Believe that. Don't think that my words are just based off of loving the heathen. It's all about hating the stuff that we had to go through because of our forefathers' wickedness. But going back to that Jeremiah 31st chapter, that's what we just read. It was the reverse of what we read in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. We're in Jeremiah 31, 29.
29, in those days they shall no more. The fathers have eaten that sour grape, and the children's teeth are set on edge.
Right, we are suffering with what our fathers did. He said, in those days, that ain't going to be said no more. Why?
But everyone shall die for his own iniquity. Every man that eat the sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge. Behold, the days come, say Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Yashrael and with the house of Yahudah. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Mizraim, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, say Yahuwah. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Yashrael. After those days, say Yahuwah, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts. It will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people.
So what's the foundation of the new covenant?
The law. In the heart. In our inner part.
But the law is the foundation.
What they say, we don't have
That's the foundation of the new covenant. Right, exactly.
We
Exactly.
don't have to do the Torah.
Do not tell me you are under the new covenant and you are not keeping the law. That don't even make common sense.
That don't make no sense.
Right. Anytime somebody say I'm gonna do something, I'll be like, hey, show me. Show me what you're talking about. Always ask them to show me this new covenant they're talking about. Go ahead.
And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, every man his brother, saying, Know Yahuwah, for they shall all know me, from the least of them to the greatest unto them. Say Yahuwah, for I will forgive their iniquity and I will remember their sin no more. They say Yahuwah, which give the sun for a light by day, and the ordinance of the moon and of the star for a light by night, which divide the sea from the waves thereof roar. Yahuwah posts his name. If those ordinances depart from before me, say Yahuwah, then the seed of Yashrael also shall cease from being the nation before me forever. They say Yahuwah, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundation of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Yashrael for all that they have done. Say Yahuwah.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, the days come, said
Okay, you
Yahuwah.
can stop right there. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But anyway, we're gonna close it out right there, y'all. This again is the part two of Yashrael, the same yesterday, today, but prophetically not forever. Hope somebody got something out of this. May Abba, Yah, add a blessing of reading of his word in Yeshua's name. Hallelujah. Any questions, comments, anything?
No, Kazak likes that verse with,
Oh, Kazak? Hey, this Kazak's favorite lesson.
I know.
He refers to this lesson all the time.
I love that verse. Have the nations changed their deeds?
Man. Like I say, man, the first time I came across that one, man, that I was a changed person on that one, yeah. Man, but anyway, we're gonna stand and close out. I'm gonna close it out this time. Abiyah, Elohim of Abraham, Elohim of Isaac, Elohim of Jacob, who art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Give us a our trespass. We forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and glory forever. Abiyah, we thank you for allowing us to come together again on each other. Baruch Shabbat, Father. We thank you for all those who have a mind to hear your truth and serve you in the spirit and truth, Father. We thank you for all that you have blessed us with, Father. And we thank you for allowing us to know individually and collectively, Father, that you are listening. You are Baruch and blessing us, Father, according to your tender mercy, Father. You have showed us that when there is no way out of no way, Father, that you bring forth that salvation in your season, Father. Father, we pray that you may allow us, Father, just to be a part of your awakening those who want to know who you are, who seek your face, Father, but just don't know where to turn, Father. Continue to lead us and guide us the way that you would have us to go so that we may be that vessel, Father, fit for whatever you would have us to do, Father. These another blessing ask in the name of Yahshua. We pray, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right.